Hello and welcome to this month's edition of What's Cooking Rutland. I'm Bethany. I'm a nutritionist at the Vermont Department of Health and part of Rutland's Nutrition Coalition that brings you this show each month. And so here we are in February, which has a lot of my favorite themes to cook with. And since Children's Dental Health Month is on the radar screen, we have Christina Sweetback, hooray, who is dental hygienist extraordinaire.
Oh, that's very kind.
As well as tooth tutor, so teaching kiddos all throughout Rutland County about, good oral health habits,
Yes.
all that great stuff.
Yes.
And it's also National Heart Month, so it's a really lovely time to pull two themes together in terms of oral health and heart health because they're connected. So here's what we're calling ourselves today. We are Happy, Healthy Teeth and Hearts, because there is this lovely connection that we'll talk about. But because it is Heart Month, Children's Dental Health Month, and Valentine's Day happening halfway through,
And
at chocolate.
right, with two women who, you gotta have chocolate.
Gotta have chocolate.
Chocolate
The two
is
of us
awesome.
here, yeah. So this show is really focusing on chocolate, which we'll talk about whether or not it really is healthy for you, because there are some folks who say yes it is, others who say maybe not. And so we're playing with some dark chocolate, which may a little less sugar, but we won't go down that road quite yet. But we have 3 recipes that overall, if you're going to have a good dose of chocolate, this is a pretty great way to go about doing it.
Definitely.
So we've got a brownie recipe that Christina found for me. It's amazing. They are healthy, and notes the quotes here. Avocado brownies. So they are a gluten-free recipe. So for any of your GF friends, you can make this particular recipe for them. Very little fat, or the fat is coming from avocado, a healthy version. So we're going to dive into that and get those in the oven. And then we have banana peanut butter bites that are dipped in chocolate. So what's always fun is to play with something that your kids can do.
Oh, yes.
And so this is a totally kid-friendly recipe, for most of it anyhow. So that one we'll dive into. And then finish with, we're gonna have dueling food processors here on either side of the kitchen. A dark chocolate hummus. Never heard of it until I started looking online, and now all kinds of people are telling me, oh yeah, it's the best. Had no clue that such a thing even existed. It is pretty amazing when I played with a recipe.
Right. I bet people who don't think they would even like hummus will love this hummus.
They are totally going to love this one. So that's what we've got for you here today. We will get to that 30-minute mark and have it all pretty much done, ready to go. And so first, we're gonna get these brownies going because they need to go into the oven. What I love about this recipe, because I've played with it now a couple of times, is the whole thing is done in a food processor.
That's the best.
So such the best. Like, so little to clean up. It's just
It's
great.
most important, I think, about tastes good, less cleanup.
All these things. So avocado. Avocado is what's going into the food processor along with a bunch of ingredients first, because this is a healthier fat. And I don't know, how are you at choosing avocados, Christine? Are you?
It took me a while really to pick, but you're supposed to feeling like your nose or something, right? Like a slight pressure.
Just a slight pressure, and
those are beautiful.
These are absolutely beautiful. And if they aren't beautiful when you bring them home, if they're hard as rocks, which I actually had picked up a big bag and they were hard as rocks, then you can put them into a bag, a brown paper bag with bananas, a banana and apple, and let them sit there for overnight or even a couple of days, and that's going to speed the ripening process up, because the bananas and apples, as they're ripening, give off a gas, and I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, so I'm not going to say it, but a gas, and that helps to ripen up the avocado. So you just saw me scoring this avocado, and then we're just going to take the skin and kind of sort of do an inside out thing. These fingers have been washed, promise, and deposit the avocado in to the food processor. In it goes. I will say, when I tried these for the first time, Christina, I made these for friends of mine, my bone builder friends in Chittenden. Hey ladies, I'm talking about you. And talk about serious skeptics. They were like, avocado in brownies? And they decided that it was actually pretty amazing.
Right.
And what else are we going to put in here? A couple of eggs. The recipe originally called for coconut sugar. That is not something I normally have in my house. So brown sugar is what I decided to do instead. So a couple of eggs. Oh, we can throw a teaspoon of vanilla in here. So dental health, so oral health, heart health. What's your understanding of the connection, Christina, while I throw some coconut oil and brown sugar in here?
Well, you know, it's an interesting question, and a lot of adults they found who have suffered from heart disease, sometimes there's people who also have periodontal disease, which is the gum disease that people have that goes beyond gingivitis. And they tend to be people who are not taking care of their teeth, whether it's not brushing as they should be, or maybe not visiting the dentist as often as they should be, or not everybody's favorite if they're not flossing. They should be. And you know, people don't have to use a floss. They could also use water picks, and there are other tools out there for those non-loving floss
Types.
Right. So they're finding the same. There's a connection between the bacteria that hurts your heart, that hurts your gums. And of course, it's not 100%, but it's a very high correlation. And I, can't think of what the number is. But
I
it
don't
was
know the
probably
numbers
like
either.
78 or something. I want to say, or it's definitely above 50, I guess I should say.
There we go.
So there's definitely a connection. So it's good for just children. Start young. Get it into a habit.
Yeah.
Just like taking showers or a bath. It's
All of
just
those
something you
things.
got to start doing.
So in here you saw me put in avocado, a couple of eggs, some vanilla. I was scooping out some coconut oil. You could also use butter. So you have a lot of different choices in terms of just a little bit of fat that goes in. We're just going to puree this up. I'm just going to open it up and scrape it down. It's not quite smooth. You can probably see there are still a few little chunks on the edges there.
And it's amazing. It looks scary.
It does look scary, doesn't it?
It does. It does not look like appetizing.
It does not. It has a not such pretty shade of green there going on. But once we get some chocolate in there, it ought to be awesome. And so, oops, still needs one more pulse, I think, because I'm still seeing some chunk of avocado. I think the key here is that the avocado needs to be super creamy because you don't want any chunks of avocado happening in a brownie.
Yeah,
That's, not an acceptable thing. So
Definitely
it needs
not.
to be super creamy, and that is now looking pretty creamy there.
As much as I love avocados, I think if I was eating a brownie, that would
not work. And so gluten-free, so we're going to use some almond flour, half a cup of almond flour, and then a half a cup of cocoa. And I brought a couple of different versions of cocoa because I love chocolate and I love King Arthur flour. I have all of their cocos at home.
I love King Arthur.
It's, you can make this really dark by using a really dark chocolate or dark cocoa, or you could use something mild. I have brought what is called a triple cocoa blend, which is a combination of natural and Dutch cocoa and black cocoa, as well as the double dark. And I think I'm going to go for the double dark here. So this is going to be really dark, because when they talk about chocolate potentially being good for you or heart healthy, they really are talking about the dark chocolate, so that it has flavanols in it that have various connections. And you can go online and read whatever things you want to do to justify chocolate, but you need to be aware that chocolate still is going to have some sugar in it, and it's going to have calories.
Right.
So it becomes just a little bit is going to do the trick for what you want to have.
Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation. Well, maybe not quite everything, but most things in moderation.
Right.
So I think I used to be an everything in moderation kind of girl, and now it's like, well, there are some things we probably really could do without completely in our diet.
Well,
so
yes.
when I think about some of the sugar-sweetened beverages that are out there. So a little bit of baking soda, a little bit of salt. Everything is just going in here. I'm just going to take one more look, and we're going to process this up. Again, pause and scrape. Woo, cocoa powder flying. And then we're going to add about a half a cup of chocolate chips. And again, depending on how dark a chocolate you want, you could do any version. You could do milk chocolate, semi-sweet, bittersweet. It's really, what are you looking for? And whoops, we're just going to pulse this a little bit to mix them in. And then this is going to go into a pan and into an oven for actually not terribly long, only about 17 to 20 minutes.
That's not bad at all.
It's really quick. So there you get like quick gratification
Right?
on these
Yes.
things, which is very important when you're talking about brownies and chocolate. So I'm going to put this into a pan, and while I'm filling a pan, which I've lined with parchment, so parchment is a girl's best friend in the kitchen, so really, you know, will help to get them out of the pan so things don't stick. So while I do that, Christina's going to dive into these. We should have had one of your kids here today.
Oh, I know. We should. They would have loved it.
They would have totally had fun. This would have, next time we do the next year, kids involved. And
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
she's going to play with banana bites.
All right. I was just looking over the directions, and so you cut this in half.
Yeah, like whoop, right down. Yeah,
I was thinking I was going to be slicing, but
I
it's
know.
just
You
one.
cut one great big sandwich, and then you
right.
slice it up.
So you're making a banana. It says banana sandwich, which is pretty cool.
So yeah, it is just a banana sandwich with, you know, you choose what kind of nut butter. So we have both peanut butter and almond butter over
I
there to
noticed
play
that.
with.
That is. What do you feel with the two?
You got two bananas. Do
It's true.
one of
I must
each.
have not cut it through this. Now, what about cashew butter? Do you?
That would work too. Have you? I haven't played with cashew butter before. Have you?
I've eaten it with I enjoy actually having almond butter with bananas
Yeah.
often, but I also do peanut butter. I'm not. It's kind of. I have to admit, it's kind of like milk for me. I'm not picky. If I'm at someone's house and all they have is whole, I'll drink it. I prefer to try to do skim, or I'll do almond milk. I'll do all of them.
All of them.
I try to, you know.
Though if we're going to talk a little bit about oral health here, you know, drinking cow's milk is going to be your best bet for calcium without a whole lot of other added stuff, since those other milks, non-dairy milks, I should say, really just have a lot of other things added into them. So you'll get a much bigger nutritional bang for your buck with a regular dairy milk. And choosing something low fat really becomes the key thing there. That calcium and vitamin D and magnesium, all important for keeping your teeth healthy.
So important. And what's also easy, I see here, you just put the chocolate chips in the microwave. You're not even.
Yeah, so no stoves involved in terms of, you know, being a kid-friendly one to make in terms of kids burning fingers.
Oh,
just have to be cautious. Sometimes things get hot in the microwave. And I really have come to love melting chocolate in a microwave. Sometimes it can be a little tricky, and think, you know, in a glass bowl and kind of 15 to 20 seconds at a time, and give it a good stir as it's going, and then at some magical time it's all of a sudden melted and ready to go. And it just, yeah, I'm a huge fan. And so we're going to do this with a couple of different things for both that recipe as well as the hummus recipe. So we're going to be pros this afternoon with melting chocolate in a microwave.
Sounds good to me. And so now with this banana here, I just cut it up in little circles now too, right? Is that what the?
Yep, so little sandwiches, and then they can go into this, if I can reach that bowl, this little glass dish here, see if they'll reach, and then that'll go into the freezer. And I'm going to snag some of these dark chocolate chips, and I'm going to just sprinkle a few on the top of the brownies, which is going to make it so much
And I need to
prettier when they come out.
actually have to dip it in chocolate. I wasn't even thinking that's the most important part.
It is the most important
I almost forgot
part.
about that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, you know, your kiddos really should have been here today.
That's true. They would have been like, Mom, you're missing the most important part.
Really, like, how could you forget that?
Now, I like my peanut butter to ooze out a little bit, I say.
Yeah.
So,
We've got chocolate microwaving, brownies going into the oven. Bananas would actually go into the freezer just to firm up and set up for a little bit. So I'm just going to stack them into this.
oh, so they don't need the
pan.
chocolate yet. They have to freeze first.
They have to freeze first, but
Okay.
I have frozen some ahead of time.
That's
So
right, okay.
I am going to pull those out of the freezer now, and we're going to dip the ones that I have assembled ahead. So, but we will throw these into the freezer because why not? So they need to freeze for a couple of hours or overnight. So these babies have frozen overnight. Let me get this container open. Oh yeah, they're definitely frozen, little guys. And, oh, that's looking great. So everything is all held together. These are on parchment. Whoops. Yours probably, you were smart and did bigger, taller pieces than I did, which means we're going to have really messy fingers.
Oh, it's okay.
Which is fine. It
all
just
right.
kind of goes with the territory. I'm just going to put these over here. They're little pieces of frozen. They might have thawed a smidge when I was traveling with them. Oh, how fun. So here we go.
Just put on the.
Yeah, we can just put it on the plate.
All right.
So we're just going to take the banana and give it a good old swirl and dip, and then let it set up. Ooh,
Be
fun.
like a perfect Valentine's Day like class that you could use almond butter.
Yep,
And,
because you can't have that peanut butter in school, most schools.
Right.
And this looks great.
This is amazing. I love it. I think I might do this for. My daughter loves bananas.
There you go. Yeah,
You
it's
know,
just
as
like
long
a
as they-
perfect little treat.
As long as they don't know it's almond butter.
Oh, are they skeptical of anything but peanut butter?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
But
Don't
when you
tell
have
them.
chocolate and you can't.
How are you going to even know the difference? So then you're basically just going to let this sit for a little bit for the chocolate to set up. As I'm like, whoa, come on, banana, come on out. Which will happen while we move on to the hummus. They should set up pretty nicely. And
It looks amazing.
oh, it does look amazing, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
You want these in their freezer?
Nope, they can just
Good.
stay right out at room
Stay right.
temp.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
So on to this amazing chocolate hummus. Oh my gosh.
I'm very excited
I know,
to see
so
this.
am I. So I'm just going to grab the recipe because I've been playing with the recipe and tweaking it up a little bit, so I really am not sure exactly what we're doing. But similar, so we're going to put chickpeas in here, a combination of tahini and peanut butter. What else is here? A little water, otherwise it's going to be hard as a rock. And WIC code up there, thanks guys. So if you are a family on WIC or know families who are, tell them to watch this show, call the office with this code. Which of these chocolate recipes are you gonna try? And that'll keep benefits going for another 3 months. So
Oh,
it's like a
great.
nutrition education activity. Just being a part of this, it all counts.
That's awesome.
It is really awesome. And I think with this, everything just goes right into the food processor.
Everything, okay.
Everything. So I don't know, if you want to measure out 1/3 of a cup, I brought agave. You could also use honey or maple syrup in terms of a sweetener. If you want it to be a little bit more savory, more similar, so to say, to an actual hummus, you could use olive oil instead. So I'm going to go grab a measuring cup as well. I'm looking at it, I've got this crazy poster here. It's the theme for this month's National Dental Health is brush and clean in between to build a healthy smile. So we're talking about happy, healthy smiles, but also hearts, because so much of what we're doing here is also connected to heart health. This is my tahini.
Use some water. 1/4 cup of water.
Or
1/3
even
cup?
1/3 of a
1/3
cup of
cup,
water
sorry.
is going to work. So I'm just going to pour some tahini in here, but I'm also going to mix in a little bit of peanut butter. So we'll have a combination. And tahini, if you aren't aware, is just a sesame seed paste. So we're just doing a sesame seed paste, which is traditionally in hummus, but we're also going to add some peanut butter because, peanut butter and chocolate, you just
can't go wrong.
No, you
Why
can't
not?
go wrong. Need to have the two together. And then the other piece that's going to go in here once some of this is processed together is melted bittersweet chocolate. So we'll get that going here in just a second.
And do you need any vanilla extra?
Yeah,
Is
there
that
should be vanilla over there, right? So the vanilla, so we have in here chickpeas, peanut butter tahini, agave, water. You're gonna add some vanilla. And the other side of these flowers, we'll slide these flowers out of the way. I have 4 ounces of a bittersweet dark, super dark chocolate. So that's what we're going to break. Actually, I should probably cut it just a little bit. Make some space. Grab a good knife. And just coarsely chop some of this chocolate. And Christina, you are such a pro at melting chocolate. I'm just gonna let you go to town and
All right.
melt chocolate again.
Sounds good.
Because while this is melting, I'm gonna just process up the beans. So there you go, my friend. It may
Thank
take a few
you.
longer because I didn't chop it super
All right,
fine.
that's okay.
So in food processor. Let's see. This is doing. Ooh, it's looking good. It's still a little chunky. You can probably see that it looks a little rough or bubbly, and that's little chunks still of chickpeas. And again, similar to that avocado, the trick here is you want it to be super smooth. I can smell the peanut butter. It smells so good.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Christina, we were chuckling before that, you know, we can call things, you know, I've been reading some goofy things about chocolate, dark chocolate being good for your teeth, and it's really more about how you take care of your teeth, right?
Right.
So it's not, I mean, some of it is what you put into your mouth, but
Right.
it's as critical what you do in terms of taking care of your
Right. It's just like
teeth.
saying apples clean your teeth. I mean, yes, there are some good, the crunchiness and whatnot, but it still has sugar in it. So I would
Right.
never tell anyone not to eat an apple. It's just like apple juice. I mean, that can cause some real issues,
There's a lot of
especially in
problems,
children.
yes,
So
bathing your teeth,
it's
those
just
teeth in
not
sugar.
eating anything really all day long, trying to set times
Yeah.
when you
How are we
eat.
doing? Still needs a little
still-
longer. Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't
but-
chop it super fine, so it's going to need
But
another second.
it's doing well.
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
Yay. So yeah, so it's, you know, it's really about brushing, and as you said, flossing. Why do you think we all have, or I shouldn't say we all, why I have such an issue with always flossing? True confessions. I'm not you know, I try to be daily. I'm so much better than I used to be. True confessions here, but why is it so hard? Do you know?
I have no idea because honestly, maybe I shouldn't confess this, but until I went to UVM and was in dental hygiene, my joke was I only flossed every 6 months
When
my
you went to the
hygienist.
dentist.
Right.
Okay.
I did not floss.
Oh, you didn't even floss
No.
before going to the dentist.
No, I brushed all the time.
Okay.
But flossing, but I'm so glad because I was 17 when I started at UVM, and
Okay.
I mean, I was so lucky I didn't have cavities, but I also wasn't a huge soda drinker or a snacker.
Okay, yeah.
So that was part of it, but I mean, my gums would have been horrible.
A
And
mess.
we always got, you know, the people who didn't have, they couldn't afford going to the dentist. So
Right.
it was, we saw like the worst cases, and that just like, I'm flossing. And basically, since then, I haven't really missed a day. I mean, maybe once in a great while, like if I had the stomach bug or something, or when I was pregnant and couldn't put stuff in my mouth. But I don't even remember that being that long, but I was like, I have to.
So yeah, okay.
So I always feel bad when I have the patients who are just like, I don't like to floss. I'm like, oh, I totally understand. Try this, or.
I know, and they have all those little cute little flossy things for kids so that they can,
Yes.
that looks great. So here we go. Probably should have done this in a measuring cup. The trick here, so I'm going to turn on the food processor. You have this really small hole to put this in. Do you think you can manage?
Well, we'll
You're going to be a
try.
whiz. Oh, you are so good. And so you can see this chocolate starting to happen here in this hummus. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. I made an insane mess
feel better now. Get a little more in there and then we'll pull this out. Oh, looks delicious. That's great.
Everything in this kitchen is going to be covered with chocolate by the time we're done, just so everybody knows. So, oh, this is so beautiful. I'm just gonna grab a spoon here. So, oh, it has just a really nice consistency. We're gonna transfer this to a bowl and then cut some of those apples that are good to eat but won't clean your teeth. To dip.
Not like the people think that they do.
I know. We're having fun here.
Right.
We're having fun.
I don't want someone to see this and yell at me.
So just pouring.
Oh, that looks.
Sorry, I've got all this stuff in the way as I'm pouring this in, you guys. And when I played with this the other day at home, it comes out this just really nice, thin texture, but I did find that it thickened up, and I'm not sure if what was absorbing fluid or the chocolate. Once it solidifies, it really became super, super thick. So we're just gonna plunk this here temporarily, and then this apple has been washed, so we're just gonna give it a quick cut and cut some pieces of that. Notice going for that flat edge, remembering all of my folks who have taught me knife skills. And we're going to throw some of these around. And then we also brought in some strawberries. So that can be wonderful perhaps to dip. So we're going to toss some of these around.
That'd be awesome for like a party. It could
I
be
know,
a
isn't it
Super Bowl
beautiful?
party or Valentines party,
things.
anything. It doesn't even have to be February.
Because these brownies aren't going to come out quite in time, but we'll get some shots of them afterwards. I want to show you some brownies that I had made ahead of time, if I can clean up the space just a smidge. So this brownie I had used, again, parchment paper so that it'll make it easier, but I just need to kind of free up the non-parchment paper edges. And then what's beautiful is the whole thing, voila, just comes out so easy, very little to clean up. And then this can also then just cut into pieces for serving. And I'm thinking, you know what, the chocolate has really set up really nicely on those on those bananas.
They look great.
So we're going to add some brownies.
This would all be perfect for like a kid's Valentine's party.
It is a great kid's Valentine's Day party. To this little plate. And if you need some color, cut some strawberries and add that. But, ooh, how fun.
Yes.
Chocolate, that's really yummy things. Thinking about our teeth, thinking I'm gonna slide these things to the middle here so we have them smack in the middle. And those other brownies are gonna come out. So, I don't know, I need to grab an apple ready.
Oh,
We're gonna
gosh,
give this a whirl and try.
I'm so excited.
I know, me too.
That is really good. I can't wait to make this at home.
I know. This is a keeper recipe. This is really, really good. So while we kind of sort of go to town in our world of chocolate here, I hope that you have some fun with these recipes in February. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Always fun. Happy, healthy teeth and hearts. We've got the recipes for you here. And next month, my pal Donna Hunt is going to be back. It will be March, National Nutrition Month, so Donna has to be here. So I have no idea what we're cooking up, but it'll be something healthy, right? Because it's Nutrition Month. So thank you. Happy Heart Month. Happy Children's Dental Health Month. Happy Valentine's Day. Eat chocolate. Ready? I have to. This is the non-dip side.